Alright guys, welcome to this page of the notes, and there it is. Well, we saw it before with circles. We got something that looked really ugly like this, and it turns out that putting this in vertex form is going to be almost exactly like what we did with circles with one extra step. So keep in mind how we completed the square for circles. We're going to do that here as well, which again, I think makes it easier than completing the square for parabolas. Remember, with circles, we were able to add things to both sides of the equation. We'll be able to do the same thing here. And then at the end, I'll show you what that one extra step is for ellipses that we didn't have to do for circles. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Again, what we're going to do is I want you to put this equation in vertex form so that you can find all of that stuff, right? Find the center, the foci, the vertices, the co-vertices. Find the length of the major and the minor axis. And then, of course, we'll graph this guy. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to need some space though as we go through completing the square together. So let me slide this up a little bit so I have lots of room. There we go. Again, I probably write bigger than you do. If you're writing these notes on your own, right, I'm sure that you would have no trouble squeezing in this space. I hate it when I have to squeeze because I feel like you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to slide this on down so that I don't have to worry about squeezing. And let me rewrite what I gave you. So we have 25 x squared plus 9y squared plus 250x, that's a big old number, minus 36y plus 436 is equal to 0. Okay, so remember, when we completed the square for circles, what we said you wanted to do is go ahead and group the like terms together by putting them in parentheses. So get all the x's together and put them in their little workshop. Get all the y's together and put them in their little workshop, because we're going to have to complete the square for both. And then whatever's left over, boot it to the other side. So here we go. I'm going to have 25x squared plus 250x. Put those guys inside parentheses. Then I'm going to have 9y squared minus 36y. Put those guys inside parentheses. And what that means is the only thing left over is this positive 436, which I'll send to the other side and make it a negative 436. All right, guys, we've been completing the square now for a couple of sections. You should recognize these things. So we're going to do, no, actually, let's do it one at a time here. Because in this case now, we got to be careful. Please remember that before you complete the square, the leading coefficient needs to be a 1. And in this case, I have a 25 here. And again, the leading coefficient needs to be a 1. And in this case, I have a 9. So we're going to have to pull those out. So let's do that first. So if I pull a 25 out, I got to pull a 25 out of everybody. So that leaves me with an x squared. And 250 divided by 25 leaves me with a 10x. Okay. Then I got to pull out a 9. That leaves me with a y squared. And of course, negative 36 divided by 9 would be a minus 4. That's all equal to negative 436. Okay, now we're all set, right? I've got all of my variables grouped together. I've got my leading coefficients of 1. I'm ready to complete the square. I'll complete the square for this guy by adding b squared over 4. I'll complete the square for this guy by adding b squared over 4. And the beauty of this is, whatever I add in here, I'll add over there. Whatever I add in here, I'll add over there. But don't forget, I pulled out a 25. So when I add it to this side, I got to put the 25 back. And when I take this guy and add it to this side, I got to put the 9 back. We'll do that all in one step. Here we go. I'm going to have 25 times x squared plus 10x. Okay, 10 squared is 100, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. So I will add 25 to complete the square. Y squared minus 4y. Okay, negative 4 squared is 16, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So I will add 4 in order to complete the square. On the other side, I have the negative 436. Now, algebra says whatever you add to one side, you have to add to the other side. So, plus 25. But I pulled out a 25, which I have to put back. So I'm going to multiply that 25 by 25. Okay? Then I added 4. Algebra says whatever you add to one side, you got to add to the other side. So I'll add my 4. But I pulled out a 9. I know, I can almost picture your faces right now watching this happen. Oh, I love algebra. You add the 4, add it to this side, add it to this side, but I pulled out a 9, so you gotta put that 9 back. Woo! Just think about how far you've come in algebra from, you know, those linear equations we started with where you're just simply graphing y equals mx plus b to this. Oh, it's fantastic to think how far you guys have come. I love it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is a perfect square, which means it factors into two binomials that are exactly the same. So, 25x. Let's see, to get 25 and sum to 10, it'll have to be a plus 5. So 25 times the x plus 5 squared plus 9. And then I need two numbers that multiply to 4, sum to a negative 4, so it'll have to be a y minus 2 squared. And then we go ahead and take care of all that stuff over there on that side. If you do 25 times 25, 4 times 9, which of course is 36, add all that stuff together. My calculator tells me it's 225. 225 is what you wind up with over there. All right, now, at this point, we were done with finding the equation for a circle. But look at your formula sheet. The equations, the formulas for ellipses are always equal to what? Yeah, they're always equal to 1. And my equation is equal to 225. So how do I get a 1 over here? Yeah, that's the additional step that you have to remember for ellipses. You'll need to divide everybody by whatever you wind up with over here. So I will divide by 225 because 225 divided by 225 is 1. And so now this whole equation will be equal to 1, which is what I need. But algebra says whatever you do to one person, you got to do to everybody. Divide by 225. Divide by 225. And here we go. 25 divided by 225 turns out to be 1/9. So you're simply left with x plus 5 over 2, x plus 5 squared over 9, right? Because the 25 cancels, reduces the 225 to the 9. Same thing here. The 9 cancels and reduces the 225 to a 25. So you're left with y minus 2, and again, use a calculator to do that, all over 25 is equal to 1. Hold up. Hold up. What is wrong with this? Hopefully you remember A is always bigger than B. And look at my numbers. 9 is not bigger than 20. Switch places. So these guys got to switch places, and that changes my orientation. If the x comes first, the orientation is horizontal. But this is the smaller number. So we're going to switch places. We're going to get that bigger number over here, but that means that the y comes first. So what kind of orientation do we have? Well, if the y comes first, this is a vertical ellipse. So my actual equation is y minus 2 squared over 25 plus x plus 5 squared over 9 is all equal to 1. All right, there's my equation. And again, we now have absolutely everything we need to figure this guy out. K. It's y minus k, so that means that k is 2. H. It's x minus h. X minus h. So how do I wind up with a plus sign in there? Well, because h is a minus 5. A. Well, this is a squared. 25 is a squared. So how do I find a? Take the square root of it. Square root of 25 is 5. And this is b squared. So how do I find b? Take the square root of it. B is equal to 3. So here's what I now know. I now know that my center is at -5, 2. A is 5 units up, so I go 5 units up to find a vertice. I'll go 5 units down to find the other vertice. B, I'll go 3 units to the right to find the covertice, and 3 units back to find the other covertice. And let's go ahead and graph this guy. Oops, 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 oops. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all right, here we go. So again, remember my center was at -5, 2. So let's see here, -5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. So right there is my center. A turned out to be 5, so I would go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it was oriented vertically, and down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. So there is a vertice and a vertice. And then my co-vertices, B was 3, so I'll go right 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a co-vertice, 1, 2, 3. There's my other co-vertice, that's the minor axis. There's the major axis. My ellipse will run right through here. Again, ellipses are really tricky to draw, but I'll do the best I can. Nope, that's no good. That's a little better. All right, and think about what did I ask you to find? Well, I asked you to find the center, which we did. The center is at -5, 2. I asked you to find, I'll come back to the foci in just a second, hold up. I asked you to find the vertices. Well, there's 2 of them. There's one, there's the other. Those vertices are at -5, -3. The other one is at -5, +7. I asked you to find the co-vertices. There are 2 of them. One of them is at -2, 2. The other one is at, let's see, what is that? -8, 2. Okay, great. What else did I ask you to find? Ooh, the major axis. That's right. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I know half of it's 5, so the full thing has to be 10. Major axis has a length of 10. Minor. Count it. 1, 2, 3. Half of it's 3. The whole thing has to be 6. What else did I ask you for? I think that is pretty much, oh yes, that's right, the foci. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get those foci. You don't want to forget about the foci. Very important. All right, now remember, those foci are going to fall somewhere on the major axis. They have to be on the major axis, and they got to be inside of the ellipse. How do I find the foci? Well, I know A and B. Remember, A was 5, B was 3, and we have this fantastic little formula that tells me C is equal to A squared plus B squared. So we'll go ahead and plug and chug. So that's going to be equal to, A was 5, 5 squared is 25, so I'd have 25. B is 3, B squared is 9, so that'd be plus 9. Take the square root of it. I wind up with the square root of 30, wait. Oh, holy moly. Yeah. See that? Okay, perfect. I'm really glad I made that mistake. This formula is on the formula sheet. All right, so please be very, very careful of the details. It's written right there for you. Please make sure you copy it correctly, unlike I just did. It's minus, not plus. Minus instead of plus. 25 minus 9 is 16. There we go. I wind up with the square root of 16, which of course is 4. 4. So here's what I know. The distance from the center to the foci is up 4 and down 4. So 1, 2, 3, right there is a foci, down 4, 1, 2, 3, right there is my other foci. Foci and foci, focus and focus, and there we go. And you found that by using the Pythagorean theorem, which is right on the formula sheet. Watch the details, copy it correctly. It's easy to make mistakes like you just saw, so please be very, very careful. That answers all the questions, and it all comes from completing the square, which we did right here. Again, very, very similar to what we did with circles, except this last step where you need it to be equal to 1, and you do that by just dividing everybody by what you wound up with over there. And please watch out for this. You may have to get those guys to switch places. A is always greater than B. I have another one of these where we have to complete the square. We'll take a look at it together. So head on over to the next page of the notes. I'll meet you guys there.